All right. I'm sorry about that. My littlest one got here a little earlier than usual. Usually I don't get here till like closer to 8. Today was not the case. My God. My throat is still recovering from being sick and the such. What's wrong with this thing? It was fine before. Now it's giving me problems. There, nice and crooked. Just like I like it. Anyway. Welcome to Topical Tragedy Tuesday. That's where I generally have some subject matter of some kind bouncing around my head, and I want to discuss it. Also, I was running late because I had just real life stuff to do. Work's been crazy. As you guys well know, I do contract AI training type work stuff. And it's kind of on and off as far as like when I get to work. So I have to jump on stuff and basically whenever. And right now it's the end of the year and things get really bumpy financially. Yes, praise the emperor. Praise the emperor. Yeah, always. Praise the Omniscience as well. Um, but yeah, just been handling. Okay, I should. I've been told that I should say these things at the beginning because then people will flip off by the time I say them. Um, if you're on my server, if you know about the Zoid Void, cool. But if you don't, it's a Discord server for schizoids. We vet it pretty well. We have an application process. You just do it. It's voted approved or not by the moderation team, which includes myself. And we have like process. And it's been working extremely well because things are generally very chill. Um, Definitely not boring, but very chill. And if you want to check it out, please do. The Zoid Void. Second thing, um, if you like the channel, subscribe, like, all that bullshit. But also, if you would like the work I do and you want to help me, join my Patreon and all that kind of nonsense. All right, so there. Somebody told me, like, you should just say that stuff at the beginning because by the time your stream's over or like sometime in the middle, so I'm like, oh yeah, that probably makes sense because a good chunk of people watch this as a VOD, and I doubt a lot of them watch to the end. So, all right. If you haven't seen, I have a new video out I put on the channel. It's an interview with a Ramsey Jones, Mr. Jones, and that is a Zoid that decided they wanted to do an interview, and I asked them some questions. We got a little back and forth, and it might be interesting to you. I've already done a few of them. I used to do them in the past, like more. Then I stopped and started kind of trying to focus more on trying to get some like docs and other types of stuff. But now I'm doing it again, and I've done a couple, and honestly, I've been enjoying it. It's been a really interesting thing. And what's cool is you might not relate to every one of them, but you get kind of the taste of different unique experiences as somebody that deals with what is called schizoid personality disorder. Right. I actually have a certain person lined up that might be interested in doing something. I think they are. So I have another interview coming up. That's also going to be cool. But check out the current one. I call it the stoic. I put on the thumbnail the stoic one because he's very, very stoic gentleman. Very, very, but still funny. He's kind of a goofball sometimes. But check it out. Um, Literal like he, you know what's funny? I've heard before people um that he would be like for not all Zoids, but for a lot of Zoids, he would be like they would ideally want this guy's life. Because he's like 45 and super self-sustained and um, has never been in any kind of romantic relationship. And they're fine with it. So that's not every Zoid out there, right? Some of us do like the dream of a um, human being we can tolerate long enough to, you know, such a thing. Some of us manage to sort of make it. I am one of those people. I'm married and have kids, but some of us really just none. They're absolutely indifferent, and if anything, they'd be just happy connecting with one or two people out there in the world, but they don't really need romance. So if you're that kind of person, then maybe this interview will be interesting to check out. Okay. Yeah, it's funny too because the first guy I interviewed in the new line of interviews is like married with like a kid. I think it was. I think that was the first guy. Yeah, and this guy was like, nope. Um. mm. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is idiosyncratic behavior, thoughts, and eccentricities. I got inspired to talk about this because there's this comedian gentleman. Oh man, I can't remember the name. Hayden, I think it was. I'm so bad with names. But in any case, if you look up like maybe schizoid comedian or man, I feel so bad because the let me look it up. Hold on. I gotta do the name now because now I'm just like feeling stupid. I had it in my head and then I lost it because that's what happens to my brain all the time, constantly, without goddamn fail. Hayden Hamilton. So Hayden Hamilton is this dude that that does stand up, and there was a little video out there of one of his sets or whatever, and it's pretty funny. It's got some pretty nice little jokes in there. Openly talks about being a schizoid PD. Um, and I thought it was great just because it was his delivery was fine, the jokes were funny, and the people watching there, which was just filled with regular folks, probably not with those that particular kind of issue. Essentially, they were kind of being like made laugh, but also slightly educated on what it is because most of them probably had no fucking idea. When you start your set basically saying I have schizoid personality disorder. And I think that some of you that deal with it might watch it. Remember Hayden Hamilton here. Let me find I'll just link the video. He's got his own site and stuff. There we go. I think this is it. I'll post it in the chat. Dang it. But yeah, check it out after the stream. Damn you. Actually, maybe I was gonna say I should just watch it now with you guys. No, I'm getting off track. You check it out on your own time. It's good though. But one of the things he said that was inspiring is he made a joke about how he said and well, I'm gonna ruin one joke, but he said that schizoid personality disorder is in the cluster A, um, side of things. Cluster A personality disorder. He said those are the eccentric, um, personality disorder people, and he follows up by saying that means they're fucking weird, and and he just kind of goes on in the set and basically describes that like we're the people. Cluster A are the people that a psychologist meets and goes, Cluster A, good luck. Like, woo, all right. We don't know what the hell to do with you guys. And I mean, that kind of is like kind of does ring true a bit. So yeah. But yeah, check it out. And when he said that, though, it made me think about how it's like, yeah, we are kind of fucking weird, aren't we? And it's interesting too because, as you've heard me talk about many times, schizoids, in my belief, are just a personality disorder that usually or almost always ends up developing in a neurodivergent person. That no, I said it wrong. Schizoids, neurodivergence, they have a specific subset of behaviors and what do you want to call genetics or whatever that undergo certain types of neurodivergent related trauma. Some of them end up being zoids, and so even when you take into consideration, right? Let's just say you take into consideration the neurodivergency, right? And then you take into consideration the personnel, well, just how they adapt to the trauma or what have you, outside of human center. Even then, like, we're more than just neurodivergent. Like, we're more than just kind of schizo or referential thinking or more than just autistic. I'm not autistic, but I know plenty of zoids that are. We're a little more interesting. That's a good word. Well, more interesting, weird, eccentric. That even among people that would be of the same or similar type of divergence, like say you were an autistic zoid and you were around other autistic people, you would still feel kind of out of place, or people might still think you're kind of an odd, even for them. But they would probably most likely be the far more tolerable and easy to be around and stuff, even if you are like even an oddball amongst them. Um, and some of those oddities tend to be many of the things that I know I always throw it out there, but in Akhtar's profile about like strange beliefs, idiosyncratic patterns of thinking, weird preoccupations, even the thing about prone to odd crimes, right? And it's funny too because when I think of an odd crime, somebody out there is probably gonna think like, oh, what they're like kill people in weird ways, like ritualistic ways. It's all like fucking True Detective and shit. Nah. When I think of an odd crime, I think of like people that like break like regulation, like home regulation type stuff, or people that um get in trouble for like disturbing the peace, possibly on a bad day, or odd crimes like, maybe even if they're like more on the advocacy route of things, they might be more prone to do stuff like let animals free out of cages, or like just stuff like that. Like they'll have like their own sort of ethical center, and or something, or belief that's just something they entirely constructed in their internal world, and then when they exercise it, when if they do but when they do exercise it, it might be something that would be considered an odd crime. Like for example, in some places it's illegal to collect rainwater, which is crazy, right? So something like that would be like, what? The government's telling me I can't collect rain. I'm going to collect rainwater. Why would I waste my? I'm collecting rainwater. That would be an odd crime, right? Or growing plants and things that you're not supposed to, or and not for monetary reasons either, but for like, I don't know, other reasons. Or like I think of stuff um like if they do theft, it'll be like some kind of weird Robin Hood situation or something, or piracy of some kind on a large level. I could imagine something like that for the sake of the cause, for the cause, for the thing that they, even if they're doing it like behind the scenes or kind of like in the quiet, anonymous. Police are great people. What are you talking about? I'm not talking about police at all. But I'm talking about odd crimes. And I'm thinking if and sometimes I think these odd crimes can also come from this kind of defiance, like this kind of knee jerk defiance of stuff. It's like, what? You're telling me you can control what I think, what I am? Fuck you. And so they might quietly do something that is not okay by some standard or another, right? So that's when I think of odd crimes. I just think of crimes that criminals would go, why are you gonna die on that hill? That's not even gonna make you money or give you power. It's just gonna like get you in trouble for what? Because you need to protect the bees. Like like you illegally have like a bunch of like fucking bees, like beehives and shit, and you have like your own like fucking bee shack. And you're like not technically, it's like illegal for you to have that. Like I imagine like those are the kind of odd crimes. In the UK, it is illegal to urinate in public apart from the rubber tire of a stationary vehicle, and it's okay to do that. Yeah, Rolando Ratas be like peeing on the tire and then like shooting the pee out to the right off the tire. You have to, and then you're kind of doing an odd crime there. Oh no, I peed where I'm not supposed to. Follow the law, piss on your car. Yeah, right. It's like, no, nobody tells me where to piss. You know, or I can imagine like a Zoid, like I don't know, like if it was illegal to have a certain type of, I don't know, plant or something because of like, or fruit or vegetable from like overseas because of like, or insect you're not supposed to have, or animal or something because it's from like a country and you can't bring those over because of ecosystem concern. Like I can imagine them having like a potted plant or potted fruit and being like, nobody tells me what to grow. This thing's cool. And then they do it. Like those are the kind of odd crimes, but then you get prosecuted for indecent. But that's when you do it without anybody noticing. You pee off to the side of the tire instead of on the tire. I like. So wait. Rolando, does that mean that if you whip it out and start peeing on a tire, but you're just exposed, then it's fine? It's illegal to have a goat. Yeah, yeah. Like you're not allowed to have a goat. I'm getting a goat. Goats are cool. Goats are adorable. I'm gonna have a goat. Those are odd crimes. That's what I think of odd. And and I've had thoughts like that, where I'm like, I want to do that thing that's technically not legal, but it's also not harmful to anyone. Why are they trying to stop me? Type shit. And and I was always like that in school too. I mean, if you think of it, even if it wasn't a crime, there would be like forms of defiance that I had in like high school, especially like just being like, no, I'm not doing that, or I don't care, I'm going to do it like this, or they told me not to do it this way, but it's better and it's faster. Why wouldn't I? That's stupid. And I'm going to do it and then lie about how I did it because fuck them, you know. Be like odd rule breaking, and things like that. Like I would go out of my way as a kid to like trick my parents into like buying me horror books that were for adults, and then like I'd be like, nobody tells me who what I can and can't read, and then like I would like do stuff like that. I'd be breaking my parents' rules about like, because they wouldn't let me like, oh, they don't want me to play that video game, or they didn't want me, so I'd be like, oh, you don't want me to see or read about gross, scary, violent stuff? Okay, how about this book? It's perfectly fine. It's like more grotesque and horrible than like any video game or or whatever that was out there available, or horror film. So odd rule breaking, I would say, is a better way to put it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a crime, but just the idiosyncratic thinking portion. Uh, so what makes me think is that, okay, so if we're prone to odd crimes, okay, why are they always odd crimes? It's just we're erratic and we just like have irrational thoughts. It's like, no, 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 no. That's not what's generally happening with the schizoid. With the schizoid, I think what's happening is they have, like I said, this worldview, this kind of internal world, and within that internal world, they might have constructed a system of ethics or morality or spirituality or whatever it is, right? And because of that, they happen to do odd rule breaking due to their beliefs or stances on things. It's not to feel powerful or whatever. And all of it is centered around these like strange beliefs, right? Like for example, I'm the type, when I was younger, um, in Minecraft, I used to like want to like hop gates and go into places that I wasn't supposed to, or that technically was off limits, which is a crime because it's trespassing. And this was over 2 decades ago, so you can't do anything about it now, or like a decade and a half. Not 2 decades. Um, and the reason, because they were spooky places or graveyards. You weren't supposed to be there at night, or it wasn't like open to the public, and it was technically trespassing. Because I wanted to like record EVPs or something like that. That's an odd crime, right? Trespassing to, I don't know, do something like steal uh, bronze poles or wires for money. That's not an odd crime. It's a meth head crime, but it is not an odd crime. Breaking breaking into or trespassing in a place because you want to like catch ghost EVPs, that is an odd crime. Especially if you're not doing it for like a YouTube channel or for clout or anything. You're literally doing it because of your fascination with a subject. Odd crime. Now this is turning into a stream about odd crimes. Have you guys ever in Minecraft participated in an odd crime of that kind? Something that was like something that was just silly. That you're like, no, that you would have gotten a ticket for, or maybe in trouble because you're not supposed to see that or look at that, or you're not allowed to be there, just out of sheer curiosity, just out of inquisitiveness or anything like that, right? Okay, if you have, then I'd like to hear about it. Chat, as long as it's not something like really bad. But if it's like something like, oh yeah, I broke this stupid law that doesn't let me collect rainwater, like I said, and you can just like be like, I collected it back then in Minecraft and all that. And so I'm also wondering about your beliefs. I know a lot of the folks that listen to me, they're pretty eccentric in their own way, even if they live pretty relatively mundane lives. They'll have like very eccentric beliefs and thoughts on a variety of matters that they generally don't tell others, which I understand why you wouldn't. Because some of it is some of it is not is a faux pas in certain circles. Like here, I'll put it on the table. Here are my, and I've talked about them briefly, but I'll just kind of list them. Eccentric beliefs that I have. Um, I believe you should do everything. I believe I want to do everything I can that does good for others because of my spite of existence. Like my hatred of how existence unfolded and consciousness and the universe we inhabit and the world and the planet and the species we are now forced to be bounded within. So I think everyone on the planet is suffering to various degrees. And instead of just getting all sad, I get angry and I want to do something about it in my own way. So that's a weird way to approach like wanting to do something, I guess, philanthropic or things like that, right? That's not how people generally approach it. They usually just like it's like fueled by love, or it's fueled by maybe they just want attention, or they want the status of it, or maybe they want like they get some kind of gratification or something out of it. Mine is just a burning hate. um and I despise shit that doesn't make sense more than, oh no, I agree. Yeah, yeah. But I don't like being made to do things that are stupid, right? I have a knee jerk to that. If I think this is not sound, this is stupid. People trying to make me do that is a problem for me. Yeah. Yeah, if they're trying to make me do something that is a good idea, yeah, I'm fine. Or they're like, you need to follow these laws, and I'm like, yeah, those are laws that, like, yeah, those are good. Yeah, just because it's a law, I don't want to, like, I'm gonna defy it. No, that's a whole different thing. That's like that's a whole different issue, different PD type stuff. But as I was saying, yeah. So that's one example, right? Of like what, like, hence schizoid angst, right? Because and I used to think like, oh, I used to direct it negatively at things, but now I direct my frustration with all of this in a positive direction. Another weird belief I have is I believe in like a more secular form of afterlife and spirituality. Right? I believe that eventually science, some STEM field will eventually develop that has to do with metaphysics, and it will be taken seriously. At least one hopes. I have a belief in that. That's an odd belief. I have a like my metacognitive capacity has basically gotten to the point where I'm like almost schizotypal, um, in some respects. Like, had I actually like, how do I put it? If I went out there and I just started shouting and telling people the word or some shit, I'd probably get like stamped or something. But essentially, like, I I don't have a special place in my heart for just the human species. Um, like, yeah, I really don't. So, for example, I'm more about consciousness or level of consciousness. So, things that have like certain degree of consciousness and ability to self-reflect and make choices and has intelligence. So if like if even if we're talking like things on the planet, dolphins and various types of apes and even things like dogs and such. Um, Recently, I've been struggling because I'm not a vegetarian, but recently I've been struggling. I want to be eventually one day, but I'm not there yet. I have so many other mental health issues that I cannot add that tack that onto, and so much shit to do. But I eventually want to do something like that. God, I hope they make the food better, please. It's one of the few things that I can somewhat enjoy is a decent meal. Um, but even if it were an alien species or something, right? They showed up and like I would zero animosity toward like I don't care if they're fucking tentacled and 500 eyeballs or whatever. I just care. It's like, oh, they're a conscious being, a sentient being. Oh, they have their own structures and blah blah blah. And if as long as they're not like a immediate threat or something, I would just be like respect them. I would be like they're just like us. I don't. I wouldn't be like humans. Like, oh, what, humans that are the best? Like, I just nah. Vegetarianism is hard in other respects. Monetarily, it's hard. Um, Socially, it would be like another thing I have to explain, and I don't have the energy for that. Pigs, whales, elephants. Yeah, I've been actually wanting to like. I think one of the first steps I'll eventually take is cutting pigs out of any kind of pig product out of my diet because I kind of feel bad about eating piggies. Um, because they're so smart. It's like eating your pet dog. And it's a little more than shopping list. It's more like, oh, I'm gonna have to deal with eating a bunch of stuff that I'd have to like change my whole palette for. And uh yeah, like let's just say I'm or like one battle at a time, right? One battle at a time. Yeah, but it would be more in my case if I'm getting stuff for me and then the rest of my family isn't interested in that. And so then now we're getting more groceries. You get me? So that's one barrier to entry for me. I know some people, "That's your excuse." I get it, but um, yeah, I'm just not there yet. I don't have. I my empathy is like just it's already really spread thin. My empathy is spread fucking thin. Um, but yeah, yeah. Like if I start thinking about that, so if I like really start thinking about like all the little various species that we exploit and destroy and stuff, like I'll lose my fucking mind. So I cannot do that. So I'm just going la 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 for now. Cause I can't. I have way too much shit that I worry about. Um, what's another idiosyncratic belief? But anyway, like if it came down to like my species and this other species, and there was like a war, but we're the baddies, I'm gonna join them. We're the baddies. I don't give a fuck about my species. I'd be like, wait, you want me to like fucking be your inside man, other species, like, because you guys are not the baddies, then I'm gonna fucking side with them. Yeah, sure. Like if it means like it, like they if they win the war, like they just leave or they don't whatever or like they're just like far more um like a much better civil less violent civilization and yeah I don't think I'm gonna be like no nobody takes us humans where nobody tells us what to do like nah man like if a species rolled up in here and I'm not stupid I wouldn't just buy into propaganda or like think like oh my god they're gods and or whatever. But like, if it could be like proven that these beings like have like way more advanced metacognitive capacity, have like figured out this and that and blah blah blah, and even if they showed up and they're like, "Hey guys, look, check out our fucking thing, whatever," um, and it's badass and it's great, and then the only thing like getting in their way of like being like okay we're gonna go to your planet and start like implementing all this good shit now and the only thing getting in the way is like our governments and leaders and people just being like get these fucking aliens out of here or some shit like that like no just like whatever weird tribalistic nah dude I'm betraying my species like that 100% betrayed species. Yeah, to serve man. Yeah, I trust me. I'm well aware of those situations. No, no, I'd be fucking just as paranoid of that as well. But like I'm just saying, like as an example, it's exaggerated. If I could be proven to without a shadow of a doubt, this civilization is so much fucking better, uh, and far less violent and far less motivated by like shit like power, and they've like eradicated certain things, but the only way we could get it is if like we become part of their thing, their like Imperium thing or whatever. Yeah, I'm betraying my species. I'm gonna advocate for that shit. I'm gonna be like, because we're not doing great. This is terrible. This is terrible. I don't understand that. So, yeah. So I guess that would be idiosyncratic. Most people would be like, "No, I'm not gonna betray my own species. We're humans. They're my people." It's like, nah, man. If betraying my species means like my species, like fucking gets a better existence in the long run. Um, and I'm saying in a scenario in which this has been proven to me beyond the shadow of a doubt, then yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't give a shit about our sovereignty. It's like, okay, like you guys had your chance, humans. Like, goddamn, you guys absolutely shit the bed. But anyway, yeah, I can imagine like an alien species just being like, okay, we're gonna go down there, we're gonna implement this stuff. We're not gonna have any problems. We're not gonna bring, we're not bringing any military and stuff. We're just gonna send our scientists and our whatever, and we're gonna start working on your shit. And if all, like I said, all they're like, no, you can't do that. You can't. No, those are top secret. Blah blah blah. And they're like, it's national security. And they're like, if you attack us while we're trying to implement shit, we're just gonna go ahead. I guess we're fighting. I guess we're gonna fight now. So it sounds like the Tau. But the Tau suck. If you know about the Tau and Warhammer, they suck. They use mind control. That's bullshit. Fucking dumb. Mind control. That's garbage. It's not the same shit. Anyway, see, I'm going off on tangents already. Um, what else? Um, what other weird beliefs do I have? Uh, oh, like like my afterlife ones are like I mentioned really briefly, but they actually influence why I do this. Like why I do all the schizoid stuff. Honestly, it's actually influenced by my afterlife beliefs. You're like, what are those? Ugh, you religious man? I'm like, no. Like I said, I have a more secularized, I guess, form of spiritual perspectives, and like the way it aligns with the schizoid project stuff that I'm interested in personally. This is just my belief. I'm not trying to tell other people like, oh, this is the ascension. People have joked that I should like make a cult. I'm not making a fucking cult. Um, but it's it's this idea, right? Because I think that when a person dies and there's a bunch of steps, whatever, that consciousness continues, but I don't think it's going to be special or beautiful or amazing. I think it's just going to be more of the same shit. With more resources, maybe less. Maybe at first it's all crazy and scary and makes no sense. I have no idea. But my point is, I think it's just going to be more existence, and it's going to be more neutral, and we're still going to have to deal. You're out. Shit, lost another one. Um, we're still going to have to deal with trying to like manage that existence, and so I think human beings are still going to, or maybe it'll be more than human beings are still going to like, or whatever. And like I said, these are my weird beliefs, and I think when I think of schizoids, I go like, okay, so if we're people that are already kind of outliers within our own species, right? Within our own species, we already feel like we're alien. We don't understand it. We don't vibe with it. Neurodivergent people in general feel that way, right? So, but sometimes they can find their own niche or their own spot that they can like feel more complete in. A schizoid, I think, is somebody that's neurodivergent that couldn't or wouldn't or was too fucked up by it. And so my one of my weird fears was like, what if a schizoid like, well, and they have, but what if like they die alone, isolated, existentially alone, right? And feeling that way and never discovering any kind of human connection, even on a different standard. And then they're dead, and then they're just, oh, I'm like, what if there's already like a little civilization in the metaphysical world or something. It's just more of the same shit. And they're still alone. They're like what a fucking nightmare, right? And so I thought, like, oh, that's cool. Well, then if Zoids, while they're alive, can find a connection with other people similar to them, or other people in general, even if it's very small or tenuous or very different based on different priorities and different things that make up a relationship or whatever, um, then they would still have something in that afterlife. They would still have people they can find. Because they always talk about that, right? In NDEs and stuff, they always talk about near-death experience. They always talk about how, like, and whatever your belief is, like, I don't care. Like, you might think it's just the brain dying and DMT chemicals, blah blah blah, whatever. But what's described often is that they see people they were connected to uh, that died and stuff, right? Grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, friends. They'll see these people and they'll communicate with them and they'll be like received, or they'll be told like, hey, it's not time yet, gotta get back, and they come back or whatever, right? That's what they describe. They'll describe shit like that. And I just think like imagine like you never connect to anybody and you're just like dead and you just float in or whatever, and you're just like, what the fuck's going on? And there's just nobody there to guide you. There's nobody there like for you to like call upon, like to be like, hey, can somebody help me out here? Like, and then even if you find your way, you're like, oh God, they're just doing the same things here. But like, we can't die. Or what if you can die, right? I always think about that too. It's like, what if like here I'm just spilling the beans on my weird beliefs, like the possibility of like you die and it's just another weird form of life in which you can die still. I always joked and thought it would be funny that like if you died and you're in afterlife mode and then you're like, "Hey everybody, like is this like the afterlife? Are we going to live forever?" And they just like look at you and go, no, we die here too, and we don't know what happens after that. But have fun for the next 500 years doing this or whatever, right? And then those people die. Apparently, are like lifespans averages about 500 years, and then they die, and we have like they still have like imagine like spirits with spiritual beliefs. Like that's the kind of weird stuff I think about. Like spirits that are aware of where they came from but have no access to communicating directly except for a few means, and there really isn't a point because they're like already dealing with their own problems. They're already like, what we don't even know what happens when you die this time. Like what happens, where does the ghost go when they die? Like, are we just dead again? So you have the same concerns. I always thought that was kind of amusing. So yeah, and that would suck if like you have like you have to live again in some other form and you're still just existentially alone because you never discovered other human beings. That's pretty much all of what I felt one day. I wasn't sure if what my life was at the time wouldn't continue forever, so the only answer is to fix it. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I have like I said, very odd beliefs. I don't know how many people you've met that have said like, oh, what if ghosts had spiritual beliefs because they have death in their universe? I don't know. Somebody should write that. If there's already a book, that sounds cool. I'll read it. Um, and so yeah, I guess that's a good chunk. And imagine that that's one of the things that I contemplate when I went like Zoids need to find some kind of connection with either other Zoids or the neurodivergent people on their terms, even if it's just like on an existential level, right? Even if you're like a Zoid that never actively like makes a friend or a best friend or gets into a romantic relationship or something like that, right? Like at least I want every Zoid to have the opportunity to at least not be existentially alone. To feel like there's someone in their own species they can actually like connect to on more than like the fact that they're both biologically human, and that's it, right? I feel that like a lot for a lot of schizoids, being like I've heard this before, being like a human is like it almost brings them shame because they're so like disappointed or what's the word or disillusioned with like the decisions and the way their species kind of handles things and makes decisions about the world and things like war and suffering and even the way um, financial shit controls everything. Like, um, I don't think there's an afterlife. Imagine if there's an afterlife and all the Neanderthals that ever lived are there. You would reply to them, "Oh, oh, it wouldn't work out. It's baloney." But I told you in my version, what if you die in that one too? So they don't last forever. Also, there's also within the spiritualist, which is more kind of like I said, secular form. In many ways, they think stuff like you continue to grow. So maybe there's if in fact like there are Neanderthal, they're just like evolved or like something like that. I have no idea. Or there's other people. This one's kind of cool. I like this belief is that it's like a reincarnation system, but but essentially you only remember who and what you are and have been when you're dead, and then you can stick around out there or you can go back to learn more shit or have more experiences. Like that one was kind of cool. And so at no point do you ever feel like you don't stop existing because every time you die, you exist as all of them at once, all the lives you've lived at once. Like I always thought that was kind of a cool one. So it would also make room for like this idea of like maybe Neanderthal died and then so on and so forth and so on and so, or other types of species. And then other people like make this weird they make like there's one thing that I've always found weird. People will say like, "Well, like does that mean all animals have spirits and stuff? And if so, like, oh, there's just so billions and billions and billions." And I just go like, "Yeah, like but you're talking about it like it's going to be on like like a planet. Like there's going to be like a physical space that like is very like finite. It's like if you collected like let's just say every fucking ghost of everything that's ever lived, even like every fucking ant, bug. I don't think that's the case. I think it's more of a intelligent or conscious life type thing. Or maybe they're doing. Maybe we were fucking the whole reincarnation thing. Maybe I was a fucking bird, went back, and I was a fucking thing, and then and eventually I was a fucking human baby. Now I just do the human baby thing a bunch of times. But anyway, the idea if you got all that shit, if you turn every fucking thing that's ever lived and make it a fucking ghost, um, then and you made it physical, it, the universe is vast, man. Like that's not even gonna be a blip. That ain't shit. And that's the physical universe. Like really? Oh, it's too many people. There's gonna be so many. Like some fucking finite planet. It's funny. Like sometimes humans like they only think with about things with what they have, what is available now, and they think the same rules would apply. Soul trap, loosh, reincarnation, guilt tripping, deception, bullshit. What? I don't. I don't know. These are just ideas. Um, I don't. Oh, you're talking about soul trap. Oh, active. Are you talking about the fucking the I like that one. That one's fun. The idea that like you die and then like you like there's all these parasites and creatures. We need you to go back to complete your mission. We won't tell you what that is. And you remember, yeah, yeah, you're talking about that. Oh, fucking active, dude. Hell yeah, that one, dude. I thought about that one. Yeah, it's the one where like you die and then like Your spirit is like ascending to, beyond, to the beyond or whatever. And then there's these parasites, the species of parasites that essentially eat like all our emotions and stuff, like the warp. It's essentially describing the warp. It's kind of funny, and because and they have like a bunch of planets maybe where they farm conscious beings for more chaos and so on, and that's their like their food, their metaphysical food. Yeah, it's a fun belief, and and so they keep tricking humans into like reincarnating, but they actually just wipe you out and then send you back to live another life again. But the only way they can do it is if you have to make like a consensual decision. You have to like make a thing, or they'll like convince you that you're gonna be trapped like aimlessly unless you reincarnate, or like something really bad's gonna happen if you don't reincarnate. And so like when people die, they generally like fall for these tricks, and then they get memory wiped, and then like essentially like it's almost like b- not existing at that point. Um, and so they get tricked into this like soul trap loop thing. Yeah, that's a fun one. That's a fun one. Um, and so the only way to get out, there was like I've seen like one or two websites that have like, here's how you escape from the soul trap, and like they'll have like instructions and shit, and like you're supposed to like meditate on this thought for a certain period of time, and then yeah. It's just yeah, it's Warhammer. It's hilarious. It is Warhammer. Warhammer is everything. Warhammer 40K is everything. That's why it's becoming like more and more like my favorite thing, fictional universe ever. Just because like I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know if it was because it was constructed and world built over time by just like various nerds and authors and all kinds of probably neurodivergent like people that like and autists and schizos, and they all got together and over time like created this world through the literature and everything, and and then like they were taking concepts from like everything from Gnosticism to like tulpas and fucking occult stuff, and like many things that might be considered like pseudoscience or whatever, and then they just took from all this weird shit and then they like built it into the world in its own like lore and canon, and it's all just like that's why it's funny. Yeah, the like things like the soul trap thing, right? The people like there's like people out there that believe in the soul trap thing, never heard of Warhammer, and so like it would be really funny if I told like if I met somebody that totally believed in the soul trap thing, and then I was like, "Do you know about Warhammer 40K?" And they were like, "What is this thing?" And then I explained to them the warp and things like Slanesh and Nurgle and shit, and they're like, how do you know these things? These are secrets, or these are for the acolytes or something, right? And I'm just like, oh yeah, Warhammer did it. Yeah. Doesn't Scientology have similar concepts, parasitic spirits? Yeah, there's like all kinds of stuff like that. Yeah. That's why I'm just like, what if like there's so many beliefs in that. It's like not the first one. Emotion referent imbalance. They must be consolidated back into the mind as a single thought. Yeah. Um, but yeah. So then that's funny to me. So there's like a lot of concepts, ideas, philosophical conundrums, ethical dilemmas, moral dilemmas that are explored like crazy in Warhammer. And um yeah, I keep falling in love with it more and more. The more I go down the rabbit hole, like the more I'm just like I should have been into this shit this hard like 20 years ago, cuz goddamn. Before I really knew much about it like years ago at all, and it only in like the last I would say the last 5 years I've been kind of like hyper focused. Recently I'm in a new like almost like mania for Warhammer stuff. And before all that, like I used to just think it was like, oh, it's just a tactical science fiction game, power fantasy shit. Right? Like I thought, oh, big Marines are blowing shit up. That's kind of cool. Oh, the Emperor, all this, right? I didn't really get into it that much. I just thought like I would see some stuff and I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. That seems cool. I don't know. I don't really like playing tactical board games. I mean, games or tabletops and stuff. And I never bothered like reading any of the books. Stan Marsh was into Warhammer before it was cool. And and then like the more I did and the more I went down and I watched every Lucian 9 video like on his channel like a few years ago, and I was just like, this is the most schizo ass fucking it's like delicious for my schizo spectrum brain. It's delicious food. It's so fucking ridiculously like the scale of shit is so hyper meta, wild, that makes it that much more fascinating. Anyway, uh, went off on my usual tangents. So, you guys got weird beliefs? Well, throw them in chat. It's gonna be silent now for chat. Come on, what's throw your weirdest belief, or it doesn't even have to be weird like you know, um, as in like the stuff I was talking about. I'm talking about like it could be weird in the more STEM field sort of way. Like you believe that this is the way of science should or education or whatever it is. Like, what's that belief that other people would be like, "You're weird. That's weird. That's weird. That's weird." Like they would do that. What's wrong with you, man? What do you think about that stuff? That that one. The one you'll get that reaction for. What do you think about those things? That's depressing. Come on, bro. You should just be fixated on getting bitches and getting buff. No, you should get buff. Just so you can live longer to have more weird thoughts. And you can use your muscles to push forward your weird agendas. One of my favorite reasons for people wanting to get like ripped is it's the dudes that got ripped specifically to cosplay. I absolutely respect that. They're like, "Oh yeah, why did you decide to become like just jacked?" And they're like, well, I like a lot of characters that are very muscular, so I figure if I want to cosplay with them properly, I have to be of a similar physique." Robin Williams was the Eldar player? That's hilarious. I didn't know that. I often wonder if like there was like some of the celebrity suicunes out there, suicides. I don't know why I'm saying it like that anymore. But that they were like some of them, like some small percentage of them were like secret covert zoids that just couldn't take it anymore, no matter what their success was. Like they couldn't take the masking and they couldn't take they thought achieving that level of success would find meaning and they couldn't and found nothing, just more emptiness, and that drove them crazy, especially since they had like all these resources now and they're not helping them find a sense of self and all that, because you're not going to find it that way. But who knows, people have different paths. I was benching the other day and failed my last set, and these dudes came running over like they were going to save my life. It was so funny. They were there were safeties on. I didn't even need a spot. Yeah, that's funny, sure, but it's kind of wholesome, right? Like that's pretty badass. Like I like that. I like that kind of that sort of um sentiment, or what do you want to call it? Mm, culture of like if you see like one of the other people benching or something, like really like they're like, oh, like they know the signs of they might be okay, but you know what? Let's walk on over there just in case, or get on over there. I think that's awesome. I've seen videos of like people legit get saved, like from fucking dropping shit on their chest or neck, and that was because the dude was just like working out next to whoever, and they're like, they see the signs of like danger, danger, um, and they reacted, and they fucking helped that person not get horribly injured. Um, I remember, I know this is totally off the topic, but gym bro culture can be pretty nice. Yeah, yeah, it's like there's a lot of as like the people in the past talked about toxic masculinity or whatever. There's a lot of very positive masculinity in some of the gym stuff. Very positive stuff. Um, no, I was thinking about something. Oh, I lost it though. It wasn't about gym bro shit. Um, no, I lost my thought. Something with the wholesomeness of something or another. Oh well, it's gone now. Whatever that thought was. In any case, let me see here. Yep, nobody wanted to share their internal thoughts. What a surprise! I always throw the dice, see if I get some. Occasionally, somebody drops something. At least now I know active research is into soul trap, positive masculinity. I guess I don't know. You know what I mean? Like aspects that are very like masculine, that are actually awesome and very useful, and also very wholesome. Like one of my favorite positive. No, I did. You did share the. Wasn't it this? Hold on. That's why nothing is born on detachment. Our virtues and Eastern religions. You have to detach. Oh, that's what you. Oh, okay. You're into. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I think you mentioned that kind of before. Yeah, yeah. Like it essentially that Buddhists are on the right track of like coalescing all emotion into stability again, and then just like turning into nothing and returning and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, yeah. No, it's cool. We live in a construct underworld inhabitants, periodic cataclysms. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're definitely in the schizo club, and I mean that in a fun way. Like, cause um, I don't believe a lot of that stuff, but I don't I don't discount it. Let's just say I don't just go wholesale like hogwash bullshit. Like no, no. This universe is fucking weird. Let's see here. I don't know how to share my beliefs. I'm still working them out. Anyway, that's fine. Nobody has to do anything. Mm, shit. I had another thought and I lost it. This is what always happens. Oh yeah, this is important. I should have said this earlier. Whatever. If um, if you're like technical, like, oh my God, if you're good at something that's more like, I don't know, like tech savvy or something. I'm just tech stupid for the most part. I can get around. Like I can get around. I can do stuff like, like when it comes to like basic shit. Basic computer shit, I can do that. I can do it mostly fine. But anything complicated or even remotely complicated or that requires like a lot of steps and learning a program and all this sort of stuff or coding or any of that shit, I'm absolutely stupid. But uh if you're someone that's like that and you think, hey, this would be a cool idea, like a website, like some people said, somebody mentioned I should have like a mailing list, right? So that it can for the Zoids that don't like to have notifications, they at least get an email for when I'm on or when I put out a video or something. And I'm like, oh well, to have a mailing list, you kind of need like a website, and I don't want to like, I don't really want a website that's like, it just looks like some fucking weird like Squarespace template or something. Um, and I don't want money, but if you have skills and you have time and you want to make something or pitch something, and you know that I'm all ears, but know that I'm just going to be like, that sounds really cool, or I'm going to be like, that's not really what I'm like, that's not really the aesthetic that I come with or whatever. No, someone that doesn't take offense to that stuff, one. And then two, um I'm not going to take you, whatever you say you want to work on or do, I'm not going to just believe that it's going to happen. I know my Zoids, and I know they just fucking, they bail on shit or go shit, and I fully expect it, is all I'm saying. So, but if you're like, hey, Hanks, I could do this mailing list website or something, hit me up. And if three of you tell me the same thing, I'm be like, whoever shows me it's done and I think is cool first, I'll be like, that's the one, guys. So, and that's only if you're interested, because I don't know, I need help at certain things. I don't have time. Um, and if it like costs like, I don't know, a little bit of money or something to like host it or whatever it is you have to do, then you can just tell me and I can try to work it into like a budget from like the stuff I get for Patreon or whatever, if it's nothing crazy. You know, stuff like that. Or if you're like, hey, Angst, I want to edit your videos. Like, I want to edit your streams and like get the parts, since I watch it all the time. I want to get the parts that I thought were cool, and that way you can upload them to the channel as either a video or like or something like that. Um, because I like say some of my, I guess, better ideas sometimes during these streams, right? And so you want, if you're that kind of person, you're good at that stuff, cool. Do it, just do it. Show me a cool edit and I'll be like, yeah, I mean, I can't give you shit, but if you're bored and you like what I'm doing and you don't necessarily have cash to give me, but you want to contribute somehow, there you go. That's another really helpful way to do it. I only feel like writing and dream searching when I'm at a low point in my life, really struggling, to be honest. The only constant I have is psychological research. There you go. There you go. I mean, that's helpful. You find cool psychological research there, Shadow, and you want to just PDF me or fucking whatever. You're like, hey, I found this cool stuff. I think it's related. Oh, whatever. Like, that helps too. That gives me content. That gives me ideas for stuff to talk about and go over. So all that stuff's really helpful. Um, Hell, if you're like, oh, Eggs, you need like a little intro animation or something for your videos, like a little Schizoid Inks thing or something. Cool. Yeah, I can do that or something. Or oh, Eggs, you need somebody to like I don't know, do some social media related to, or you need an Instagram or you need a TikTok or like where we upload chunks of your shit or something. I don't want to manage that. But if you're somebody that knows how and you're interested and you want to volunteer, um, yeah. Oh yeah, if you want to use AI for me to do stuff, then you go for it. I don't care. I don't want to. I already work with AI stuff and training and stuff all day, like 40 hours a week. I do not want to spend my free time doing AI stuff. I already, yeah. It's like that whole thing. It's like I don't want to do my job during my free time, writing prompts and shit. Um, you know, just shit like that. Oh, I want to put time. I'll put timestamps on your streams, Anks. I'll pin you. You make the timestamps, I'll pin you. Whatever, because some of the timestamps on the fucking YouTube thing are like really bad. Very out of context. But point is, all that shit helps. And the only people that are gonna help the schizoids are the schizoids. Like literally, that's it. Ain't nobody coming for us. We got to go to them. As annoying as that sounds. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for being here. Again, check out that. He only has like I think one video on the actual thing, but check out the video on there for that Hayden Hamilton comedian dude. I think he's just like a dude that probably obviously does occasional stand up and is interested in it, but probably does a bunch of other stuff as well. My AI girlfriend says my PP is big. I'm sure it's super big active. Don't worry. But anyway, yeah, check him out. Watch this little like the 5 minute thing, and be like, hey, this guy's kind of cool. And then maybe comment on his channel, and maybe it'll inspire him to upload more stuff to the YouTube or something. Anyway, all right, guys, support your fellow Zoids to whatever degree that you can. As far as like commenting other YouTubers at Zoids and stuff, like all that stuff is helpful, man. All that stuff's good. All right. I'm gonna be on the server after this. I'm gonna be watching more Warhammer videos because I found more stuff. I just watched all the Hammer and Bolter. I really like the stories, even if the animation was like mid. And there's more stuff I haven't watched because it was behind a paywall. And yeah, I found a pretty good place to think about paying for them. But in any case, no, it's good stuff. I'm enjoying it, and there's more recent stuff that I want to watch. All right. Well, as usual, when day is dark, always remember, happy day.